You know, no matter what business you're in, there's this constant battle going on. It's the struggle for efficiency against waste and the quest for perfection against, well, mistakes. So how do the world's best companies win this fight day in and day out? It's not luck, it's not magic, it's a methodology. And today, we're going to break down one of the most powerful business strategies ever created.
Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the big picture, that quest for perfection. Then we'll meet our two heroes, Lean and Six Sigma. We'll see what happens when they join forces, look at the incredible real-world impact, and then, most importantly, we'll talk about how you can start using these ideas yourself. So let's start with that fundamental question. When you get a product or a service and it's just flawless, it's fast, it's exactly what you wanted, how does that actually happen? Well, it's the result of a relentless focus on improving every single process behind the scenes. And that brings us to the first hero of our story. Meet Lean. Now, this whole idea was born out of Toyota's game-changing production system. Lean's entire mission, its whole reason for being, is to increase speed and efficiency. And it does that by hunting down one single solitary enemy. That enemy is waste.
In the world of Lean, waste has a specific name, muda. It's a Japanese term, and the definition is just beautifully simple. It's any activity that uses up resources, time, money, materials, but adds zero value for the customer. Here's a great rule of thumb. If the customer wouldn't be willing to pay for that step, it's probably waste.
Now, what's so cool about Lean is that it gives us a tactical hit list. It doesn't just say, go find waste, it tells you exactly what to look for. Think of them in a few groups: waste of production, waste of movement, and waste of time. Let's run through them real quick.
First up, a waste of production. Just making too much, too soon. In this example, you've got 200 extra pages piling up every hour. They're just sitting there, taking up space, creating a bottleneck. It's basically a traffic jam in your process.
Next up is another production waste: correction, or what we usually call rework. This one is a real killer. Every single time you have to fix a product or redo a service, you're literally paying twice just to get it right. It's pure, unadulterated waste.
Okay, now let's talk about wastes of movement. And we'll start with people. A single extra click, right? It seems so tiny, but multiply that by thousands of times a day across a whole team. You're talking about hours, even days, of wasted time. It's a huge red flag that your process is broken. Conveyance is kind of like motion's cousin, but this is about the unnecessary movement of stuff. Every time a product or a file gets moved, there's a chance it gets delayed, damaged, or lost. The goal is always to make the flow as smooth and direct as possible. Now this one is sneaky, but it is so costly. Overprocessing is doing more work than the customer actually needs or cares about. This example from healthcare is perfect. All that was needed was a simple yes or no on insurance, but an entire hour was burned on details that added absolutely no value. And the last of the core wastes is maybe the most frustrating one of all: waiting. I mean, we've all been there. Anytime a person, a machine, or a product is just sitting idle, waiting for the next step to happen, value has stopped. Time is literally being thrown away.
So, Lean makes things fast. Awesome. But what about making them perfect? For that, we need our second hero, Six Sigma. This was developed at Motorola back in the 80s, and Six Sigma isn't focused on waste. Oh no, it has a totally different enemy in its sights: variation.
The big idea behind Six Sigma is actually pretty simple. Inconsistency is the mother of all quality problems, right? If you're a coffee shop, you want every single latte to taste exactly the same. If you're a surgeon, you want that procedure to be perfectly consistent every single time. Six Sigma uses data and statistics to hunt down and eliminate the root causes of that inconsistency. And this image just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got a process with very little variation. The results are all tightly packed around the target. It's predictable, it's in control. On the right is chaos. The results are all over the map. You have no idea what you're going to get next. That's where defects and mistakes live. So what does the name Six Sigma actually mean? Well, it's a statistical measure of how good a process is. And a process that's running at a Six Sigma level is so consistent, so dialed in, that it produces only 3.4 defects for every 1 million chances. Think about that. It's about as close to perfect as you can possibly get. Now you might be sitting there thinking, hey, 99.9% accurate sounds amazing. And it is pretty good, but let's put it in perspective in a place where it really matters, like air traffic control.
At a 5 sigma level, which is 99.9%, you'd have over 2,400 flight errors a year. But get that process to a 6 sigma level, that number drops to just 35. That huge gap is the difference between being good and being truly world-class.
Okay, so we've got Lean, the master of speed, and we've got Six Sigma, the master of quality. What happens when these two heroes join forces? Well, you get one of the most effective improvement strategies ever. It's a true powerhouse. Think of it like tuning a Formula One race car. Lean is the mechanic who strips out every ounce of unnecessary weight to make the car faster. Six Sigma is the engineer who fine-tunes the engine so it delivers perfect, predictable power on every single lap. See? They attack different problems, waste and variation, but they're both working towards the same goal, winning the race.
Here's the 1-2 punch. First, you use Lean to slash away all the steps that don't add value. That makes your process fast and streamlined. Then, you bring in Six Sigma to perfect the steps that are left, making them incredibly consistent and error-free. The result? You get the holy trinity of business improvement, a process that is faster, better, and cheaper.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, right? But what about the real world? Why do the biggest companies on the planet invest millions in this stuff? The answer is simple. The financial payoff isn't just good, it can be absolutely mind-blowing. Let's look at the proof.
Let's go right back to the source. Motorola, the company that invented Six Sigma. They reported saving, get this, over 16 times billion dollars. That is not a typo. By relentlessly applying these principles to everything they did, they got a return on investment that is just staggering.
And this table right here brilliantly shows the cost of not being excellent. Let's imagine a giant like Amazon on a crazy day like Cyber Monday. If their process was at a 4 Sigma level, shipping errors could cost them almost $8 million. At 5 Sigma, it's still about 300 grand. But at 6 Sigma, the cost of those errors plummets to under $5,000. That is the financial power of consistency.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground. We've met our two heroes, we've seen them team up, and we've witnessed the incredible results. So what's the big idea? What's the one thing you should really take away from all this?
Here's the thing. The real power of this isn't just for car factories or corporate boardrooms. It's a way of thinking that you can apply literally anywhere. It really just boils down to a mindset that's focused on two simple but profoundly powerful questions. Where in your world could you eliminate what's unnecessary? That's the Lean question. And how can you make what's left more consistent and predictable? That's the Six Sigma question. Just asking those two questions and then having the courage to act on the answers, well, that's the first step on your own path to excellence. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you understand, please give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to turn on the bell so you never miss our next Six Sigma lesson. We'll see you in the next one.